Okay, so now you are going to do your black square problem. So I'm going to show you how to set a new document with what dimensions you need, how to create layers, how to use the fill and the rectangular marquee tool today. So what you will do is you're going to go to File, New, and then you want an 8x8. Make sure this says inches, and resolution 300, color mode RGB, background contents white. Press OK. Now you have a square template. Now you need to find your layers. My document is set up so my layers and my actions are over here. Yours probably won't be. If you do not see layers or something that looks like this, you go up to Window and you go down to Layers. Right now you just have a background which is locked. You will need to create a new layer. Each square that you do will need to be on its own layer. This is important for in the future. So we have this. Then I'm going to select my rectangular marquee tool. And if I hold shift, it will constrain it to a square. So you don't have to worry about that. Then I can move it around. Make sure that if you want to move the rectangular marquee tool around that you keep it on the rectangular marquee tool. Do not switch it to the select tool. And then in order to fill that, it's super easy. You see down here I have black and white. If you do not have that, pressing D will default that back. X switches between the two. So then all I do is I press Option Delete, and now my black box is filled. Now using your select tool right here, you can move your square around like so. See, you have the marching ants around there. It is still selected. In order to deselect that, you press Command D. So now you have a square. Now you can use the rectangular marquee tool and create another square, or you can duplicate this layer, which is what I would suggest doing. So if you do that, you can press Command J, and now you have two squares. It does duplicate it on top of the other one, but if I click on it, I can move that around. Okay. Notice I have a ruler up here. You may not have that ruler. If you want to see your ruler, you press Command R, and it'll bring your rulers up. I have mine set up so it kind of snaps to different areas, so now I can tell that with my pink guidelines that they are in order. I can hold Shift and I can click on the other square to move it. I have Auto Select Layer selected up here, so now when I click on this box, it will select that layer. When I click on this box, it selects this layer. If you do not have that checked, that will not happen. Okay? Now let's say I want this to be a different size, or I want to rotate it. If I do Command T, which is free transform, I can now rotate it. Notice my the little handlebar on the edge is now a curve, meaning I can rotate it. Or holding Shift, I can resize it. Holding Shift keeps it constrained and will keep it a square. If you don't hold Shift, it will become a rectangle. Okay? So if I hit Escape, that will undo that. I can Command T again. Now you can also go up to Layer and Edit, Transform, and then you can scale or rotate or skew, whatever you need to do, or you can just go to free transform as well. I'm just so used to doing Command T that I like to do that. So I'm going to Command J again, and I have another one, and Command J and another one, and now I have my order done. Maybe I want it to be tension. Okay, so now I can go up to File and Save As. Now if I'm still working on this document, let's say I'm not done with it, I need to finish it tomorrow, I'm going to go up to my desktop, I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it Black Square Problem. I'll create that. And I want this to be tension. I want to keep that as a PSD. If you keep it as a PSD, all the layers remain intact. So the format is Photoshop. The only time I'm going to save it like this is if I want to change it. If I want to keep the layers, I'll hit save. And I press OK again. So now I have that done. All right. But if I want it to be completely finished, I have to save it a different way. But I'm going to show you one more thing before I do that. You can do this as well. You can go up to, let's say I want to create this really big, but I want a white line around this. I want to be able to tell the difference between all of my squares. If I go into my layer, I want to make sure that this layer is on top. The order of these I will show you an example of that in just a second. But this means that it's on top and it'll be the one that's most visible. If I go into FX, I have these blending options. I'm going to go into stroke and I'm going to fill this white. Press OK. And now I can adjust the size so I can make it thicker or thinner. I can do the position on the inside or outside or center. I like to keep it on the inside for this assignment because I like the nice squared corners. So I'm going to press OK now. So I can do that. Let's say I want to put a hole in this. Maybe I want to put a hole in this one. I can just delete that out. Okay, I can move this around. Now I don't want a hole. Oh my gosh, I've already done a couple things. If I undo it, it just undoes the move. I can't do anything else. The cool thing about Photoshop is you have a history right here, and it tells you all the history for like 20 states or so. So I can actually go back and undo things, or let's say I went too far, so I can now go here. So your history can do that. To undo just one state is Command Z. I'm going to Command D to deselect that. Now I'm completely done. I really like the way this looks. I want to save it. In order to save things and to put them on your website, you have to either save them as a PNG, a PNG, a GIF, a GIF, or a JPEG. And the JPEG and the PNG are the most universal. Now, the smallest file out of those is going to be your JPEG. So you probably want to save all your things right now as a JPEG. There will be times when we will want to save it as a PNG and a GIF file. But for now, unless I tell you to save differently, I would like you to save as a JPEG. So if I go up to Layer, and you want to flatten your image, this is going to get rid of all of your layers and make your file a lot smaller, which is very important when you're uploading to the web because it'll upload faster and it will upload, it won't take up as much space on your website because you only have so much you can actually upload there before they're going to start yelling at you and saying you can't upload anymore unless you pay. So I'm going to go up to File and I'm going to go to Save As. And it defaults right now format to be Photoshop. It will not upload to your website as a PSD file. You have to go down and pick JPEG. Okay, you can't type JPEG in here. It doesn't do anything. You hit save. Okay, and now your file is done. I can close that out. I can go to File, New, 8x8, press OK, and now I have my next file all ready to go. Just remember that all your squares need to be on their own layer. When you save it, it needs to be a JPEG.